Hello everybody and welcome back to All the Mods Tend to the Sky. This is episode 11. If you haven't seen any of the other episodes, go check them out on my channel. And if you would like, you are more than welcome to like, comment, and subscribe. It's not required, but it does help me out. Alrighty. So, last time we started making some of the things required to make the ATM star, which is going to be the last thing I build in this mod pack. It requires a lot of unobtainium, all the modium and vibranium, which I already had, and then a bunch of singularities. And now, between videos, I did probably more than I should have between videos, and probably should have recorded some of it. But I did get my glowstone singularity that I was so concerned about. I made the witch data model and then just set that up to automatically feed like I did with the warden and the wither data. And I ended up getting all the glowstone I needed. But the biggest thing that happened between videos is while I was AFKing, farming, and doing all that, I left my computer on and I went out to go do something, and the power bumped and my world got a little messed up. So this chunk right here, as you can see, this is a chunk, and it's all that's in this chunk is this little section right here. And the game bugged a little bit, and it duplicated that chunk. So right here is an exact duplicate of that chunk put into this chunk. And it didn't exactly copy it. There's no power running to it. This chest is right, but if you see, it says acacia copper, but it's an oak copper. And this one looks like an acacia netherite and is an acacia netherite, but it doesn't have any of the upgrades or any of the items in it. These are a little strange, and it deleted what was in the chunk, which was one of these little farms that I had built. Each of these is 64 hopper botany pots on top of hoppers to feed into the chests, with a piece of inferium farmland and then a seed from mystical agriculture. And both of these farms are intact, but this one that was in this chunk got deleted when this came over here. I don't exactly know what caused it, and I don't know how to fix it, but this farm was farming me dirt essence. Luckily, before that had happened, I had gotten enough dirt essence to complete the 5x dirt block that I needed. This farm right here is farming wood essence, and this one is farming inferium. And I did get enough of all three of those to build the pieces I needed. So I did do that off stream. So if we look at the 5x compressed, I now have a 5x compressed dirt, 5x compressed gold, 5x compressed gravel, 5x compressed iron, 5x compressed oak, 5x compressed blocks of redstone, and 5x compressed sand. Now, the redstone, gold, and iron was the kind of most difficult of those to do because they removed the mystical agriculture seeds for all of the resources that you would normally do through there. They want you to do it through geodes. And so what I ended up doing is I took down all of my geodes and I put up 3 gold, 3 redstone, and 3 iron. And then also over here, I've removed it now, but at the time I had set up that little one with 1 of each over here as well, also sending into this chest. And then I got my compression upgrade, or condenser upgrade? Compressor upgrade? Yeah. The compacting upgrade. This advanced one allows you to compress blocks, a 3x3 recipe, and I set it up to auto-compress all of the iron, redstone, and gold. So now I've got an extra 2,000 blocks of redstone, 6,000 blocks of gold, and 6,000 blocks of iron. I also completed the electrum. So now we have these singularities, which is all of the regular ones, including the glowstone one. which just required 25,000 pieces of glowstone. Currently in that chest there's 16.3 thousand, so I ended up with 2.5 of those slots full and just exported them out. I also made the Oblivion Shard, which is 4 quantum entangled singularities, which is really easy. Just a tiny TNT, a singularity, and an ender pearl gives you 2. These are both really easy to make because the singularity is just 64 matter balls and 1/10 of a bucket of lava. So, the hardest part was actually the paradox machines. It wasn't incredibly difficult because I already have most of this made. It's just a lot of sitting around waiting to get the time crystals. So the time crystals, I don't think I have any left. I made exactly enough. Yeah. But you get it from a cluster. But you have to take... Here. I'm using a cardboard box because it breaks. So this block here is green. If you put it down in the overworld, it absorbs overworld energy, becomes blue. I then put it in a cardboard box and pick it up. And then you have to do that and bring it into the nether. And do the same thing. So in here... You put it down, and you can see those orange particles absorbing by it. Those will activate it, essentially. It's now absorbing the nether energy. It turns orange, you put it in a cardboard box. If you do not break it without breaking it, even with silk touch or anything, it completely breaks. It is unmovable, and you have to redo it. I then had to come over here and go into the end and do the exact same thing again. So right here, I would put it down. And now it's absorbing green particles, and now it is absorbing the end. So I would just sit here, and the first time you go through with it, it takes a lot longer, because you also have to do the overworld, whereas the second time it goes through, it doesn't. So once it absorbs it all, it turns into a budding time crystal block, and it... Yep, there we go. It's now green. Put it on, put it in the cardboard box, go back through. And then here in the overworld, I was doing it over here, but you can put it anywhere. And you put it down, do the exact same thing, and now it will grow like amethyst or geors or anything. But it only can grow a certain number of time crystals growths before it just turns back into that blue version, and then you have to go back through the whole cycle. I did that cycle about 6 or 7 times to get enough time crystals for the paradox machines. And the most annoying part is while there is 1 or more time crystals in your inventory, it will randomly do quote-unquote time effects on you. So it will give you speed or it'll give you slowness. And it's like speed 6 and slowness like 1,000,000. You literally can't move, so I had to jump and use my jetpack to get around. And while that was all going, I still haven't created enough obsidian, so I quadrupled my rate of creating lava so that this was always full to speed it up. I also upgraded the cobblestone generator up to netherite, because it was currently just stone, and that couldn't keep up with 5 crucibles. I did that. I thought that the Manhattan module was going to be difficult, because it looks difficult, but all I need is plutonium pellets and Heisenberg compensators, and both of these are relatively easy to get. Like, this looks complicated. It requires plutonium, it requires duradium, and plastic, but the plutonium would have been the most difficult part to do, because normally it would require, like, particle collision of uranium and fluxite. But I can actually just use uranite crystals in the energizing orb, and the uranite crystals is uranium, uranite, and sand, which I have infinite of all 3, so this was really easy. And then the Heisenberg compensator. I thought I was going to have to go through with the adamant and the unholy intelligence, getting strange matter by melting down lava and enderic compound, but actually I can just use a super AI chip, which requires duradium, advanced computing engine, which is just those processing units from before, and silicon wafers, and the silicon wafers is just carbon fiber and silicon. And it's really that simple. All I needed was an atomic forge, and the atomic forge is also really easy because I've built all of these pieces before. And then you can't hook a cable up to it. It doesn't connect to power cables or anything like that. You have to power it via a enderic laser. And the enderic laser is way easy. Enderic. Nope. Enderic. The enderic laser is just 2 motors, an enderic lens, electrum, carbon fiber, and one of those plate blocks. And then that's hooked up to power, and it powers the atomic forge. So really not that complicated. I also wanted to start getting into starting to build all of these to get the Wither Builder. But I did come to the realization that that takes a lot more than I thought it did. But I did get down a dissolution chamber and a basic latex processing. And then this over here creates the pink slime. So I have a range upgrade in here, and this is really easy. Just a bucket of latex, 2 redstone, 2 glass panes, and 4 gold nuggets, and it gets you the range add-on. So this covers my entire little pen right here, and that golden, like, happy grass that I made a couple episodes ago when I made the mob farm, as long as there's nothing on it like this grass stuff, it will spawn in mobs, like really, really fast. And so this, when it's powered on, I currently have it off. Once this progress bar goes down, which takes about 5 seconds, it kills 1 to 2 mobs in there and turns it into fluid meat and pink slime. So when I need pink slime, this is here, but for now I don't need it, so we're leaving it alone. This is the mystical agriculture setup. And I used that to create the seeds for wood and dirt. And I can tell you exactly how many of everything it took, because I had to make a clipboard. So to create everything, I needed 23,894 pieces of inferium to make the Insanium coal, I think is what that one was. 24 prosperity shards for that same inferium coal, or supremium coal. Insanium coal. None of those. It took 19,683 pieces of dirt essence. It was actually a little more than that, because this would be exactly enough, but it does take 8 to build a recipe. And 11,072 oak essence. Once again, a little more or less than that, because of the crafting. So that would be exact, but the crafting takes 3, and the dirt essence takes 8. For that, I did get fire seeds and cow seeds from completing those quests. I haven't put them down yet, but I could. They allow me to get more seeds, basically. I did get a seed reprocessor, and that allows me to put the mystical agriculture seeds in it. It consumes them and gives me the essence that would normally be grown by it. Let me get some prosperity. I didn't have enough prosperity, so I had to sieve some soul sand. But that wasn't too hard. I destroyed this setup. When my game glitched and that whole area broke, it did break some of my other, like, generators. So I had to... My power was draining rapidly. My... like, everything was running normal, but then this basic energy cube was empty, this was running low on power, this was starting to drain, and I didn't understand it. So I destroyed everything that could be consuming power, and it turned out that when the game crashed, these 3 blocks right here, the 2 speed accelerators and the auto breaker for the coal, was for some reason counting like 8 times faster, and even though they weren't active, they were consuming power at an insane rate. But they were one of the last things I broke, so everything else got taken down first. And now that my power is fixed, this is operating. I realized that the magmatic dynamo from Powa really wasn't doing anything because it was producing maybe 1,000 Fe per tick, and that's really not enough. I believe I got this wand from a quest, but I might have crafted it. It's a very basic recipe. It's an optional quest line. But basically, how I made everything was you grab 4 pieces of dirt and 4 pieces of inferium, and then you just put the seeds, the prosperity seeds in the middle. 4 of those, 4 pieces of dirt. If you look at the middle, it's now making dirt seeds. You can just put a button next to this and that'll do it, but the wand, if you right-click the pedestal, now you don't need a redstone signal, and it just creates the dirt seeds. And then I would take this over here. I just made 3 of each, and the inferium farmland in here increases the growth speed and the chance of it dropping the secondary resources like seeds and fertilized essence. So this has been running for quite some time, a couple days now, because I think I built it Sunday night or Monday morning. And so this has just been creating wood essence. I don't need it to, but there's no reason to stop it. This was making dirt until that happened. And I want to tear that down, but I didn't want to tear it down without showing you guys what I was doing and what went wrong. I don't exactly know what wrong, but just that stuff broke. And also, this area right here was linked to that until I restarted my game twice. So even when I destroyed all of these cables, it was still pulling from this and putting it in this chest because those cables were still ghostly, like here, pretending to exist. So if I put something in here, it would still draw out and put it in the chest. It was really weird, but once I figured it out, it shouldn't happen anymore. And I am not going to claim any of these, even though these resources would be nice to have. It is a fluke that this exists, and it's a glitch. And see, now this is, like, it's supposedly connected to my network, but it's not. It's a glitch. Since these are all glitched in, I'm not going to use them, but I might tear them down and let them fall into the void. I did do some other stuff. I just can't exactly remember what. I started the creation of steel in here, so we've got 21,000, almost 22,000 in here. So this should be close to being done when I get to the 25,000, and that'll be the last piece to get the ultimate singularity. We are very close to the pulsating black hole. We just are waiting on this 5x obsidian. We need 2 more 4x obsidian, and then we'll have a 5x. I took down all of this because it served no purpose anymore. I added another stack upgrade. I do need the solium dust, actually, funnily enough. So that's good that I noticed that. So today I wanted to start either getting into this or starting some of the other mods. The other thing I did do is just take those nitro crystals that I was making between videos before and make this player transmitter. It's really easy. You just craft up from the previous version, and you can see that I did do it that way and didn't just cheat them in. If I go down to Powa, if I can find it, it's somewhere in here. There it is. I had to craft every single one down the line. Well, actually, where is it? Right here, next to it. I needed to make the player transmitter starter, basic, hardened, blazing, niotic, spirited, and then nitro. I did the same for batteries, because for the improbable probability device, you need 3 nitro batteries, and it's the same thing. You take the previous version, the new one, and you just craft it up. So I did that because it's just a lot of crafting. I also did the vibrant capacitor because it's really easy I just need to make vibrant alloy, and that's just energetic alloy and ender pearls, and energetic alloy is just redstone, glowstone, and gold. And then, so I can show you what I did. Ender IO, that's right. So I started working on a couple of the other pieces for a couple other things. So I did take down the vat, but this is the vibrant capacitor. It doesn't store very much, so I'm not going to use it. It only stores 4 million. I did make the soul binder and the slice and splice to make these sentient processors for the philosopher's fuel. And that's really easy as well. I'm saving the complicated stuff for on stream, but this stuff is just, it's an ender resonator and a soul vial with a witch in it. And the ender resonator is solarium, vibrant alloy, silicon, and an enderman head. And the enderman heads I get from the enderman predictions, which I have, so it's not complicated. And then the soul vial witch is you right click a soul vial on a witch, and I have a mob farm that spawns witches. So why is the wandering trader up here? Hold on. What are you? Anyway, so I took down a lot of stuff that was over here. I forgot I had this, so I used it a little bit to make some soul sand. This was an already automated setup. I didn't need to make this. So yeah, none of that was super complicated, and we are going to get into some of the more complicated stuff here on stream. One of those very complicated things is create, so that I can get the mechanical arm. We just need to go a little bit into create, not very far. I just need brass, but more than brass, I need a precision mechanism, because everything else I could make without having to actually get into create. But the precision mechanism requires me to send a gold plate, and it needs to hit 3 different deployers 5 times. So we don't need to go very far into create, but we do have to touch on it a little bit, and there's only an 80% chance of getting the precision mechanism. So we can do that today. We probably will, because it's very easy. I just don't like create, but I do understand how it works. So then we need to focus into mechanism a little bit and get this gravitational modulating unit. And then once we get these 3 things, we are done with this Nexium emitter, and we can put it over where we need it in the little chest. So far we have this, and we are very close to getting this, and then we have pretty much all of these singularities. So this is still the same crafting recipe we are working on, and we just want to focus in on some of the more difficult things. With the Philosopher's Fuel, the most difficult thing in this entire craft is the Draconic Reactor Core. So this requires us to get to the chaotic tier of infusing with Draconic Evolution. But that also requires us to get a bunch of Chaos Shards and Chaos Fragments. That means we need to find and kill the Chaos Dragon in the end. And we need to start working on actual fusion crafting. So we might save that for a later date, but we also need so much for this, the Dragon Soul. Because we need to do, once again, the chaotic. So we need to craft with the Chaos Crystals, and this is also chaotic, which means we need to do more infusing with the Chaos Crystals, but that only requires Draconic. But if I have to get up to chaotic, I might as well get up there before crafting this anyway. And then, for these 2 items, we need to get into Occultism and Ars Nouveau. But the stuff that I want to get into today is actually to start making the antimatter in the background, because that's going to take a long time. We need 2 antimatter pellets. Each pellet requires 1,000 millibuckets, or 1 bucket of antimatter, and each millibucket of antimatter takes a bucket of polonium, and each millibucket of polonium requires 5 millibuckets of nuclear waste. And in order to create nuclear waste, that means we have to make a fission reactor. Fission reactors make 1 millibucket of nuclear waste, and then either steam or superheated sodium. And that requires fissile fuel to burn. So, we need to start working on fissile fuel, which is going to be kind of hell, to be honest. So that requires an isotopic centrifuge, which also requires uranium hexafluoride. Uranium hexafluoride requires a chemical infuser, and it requires uranium dioxide and hydrofluoric acid. This is going to be a lot. You don't have to remember any of this information. So let's focus on the uranium oxide. Uranium oxide is in a rotary condensator. Or no, hold on. The chemical oxidizer. Yellow cake uranium. Yellow cake uranium is an enrichment chamber and uranium. That's easy enough. We just need a second chemical oxidizer, or a one chemical oxidizer. That turns 1 yellow cake uranium into 250 millibuckets of uranium oxide, or a quarter of a bucket. We could figure out how to make liquid uranium oxide, but it looks like there isn't a way to. So this is the only way to do that. Okay, now the hydrofluoric acid. This is in a chemical dissolution chamber, so we need one of those. And it is sulfuric acid and fluorite. And fluorite is a lot. So fluorite we have, because the only real way to get it is from sieving sand. So we have a bit of it, but not a lot. We have 1,000 fluorite, which should hopefully be enough, but it might not be, and I might have to send up a sand sieving machine that voids everything except the required resources. So that's in this. Next, we need sulfuric acid. Now, we could turn sulfur into sulfuric acid, or we could turn water vapor and sulfur trioxide into sulfuric acid. The easiest way will probably be turning sulfur into sulfuric acid. And the way that I want to do that, I believe, is through the chemical injection chamber. Let me double check. Yes, turning sulfur into 2 millibuckets of sulfuric acid. So we want a chemical injection chamber. That gets the hydrofluoric acid, which, it takes a bit. Okay. Hydrofluoric acid and uranium oxide turn into uranium hexafluoride. In an isotopic centrifuge, turns it into fissile fuel. We also need a second one of these, because that's how we turn the nuclear waste into... No, hold on, this is plutonium. We need polonium. So fissile fuel burns with water in a fission reactor to create steam and nuclear waste. Nuclear waste in a solar neutron activator creates the polonium. So I need a solar neutron activator. The polonium, mixed in a supercritical phase shifter, or SPS, turns it into antimatter. So I need to figure out a way to store the polonium until I can make an SPS. And the SPS requires so much power. It requires an input of 40 million Fe per tick, and it processes at 1 millibucket per tick. So it'll take 1,000 ticks for this to process. There are 20 ticks in a second, so that would be 20 ticks, I think. So 20 seconds for this to process, which means we need 8,000 million, which is 8 billion Fe per tick, or 8 billion Fe per craft of 1 millibucket of antimatter, and we need 2,000 millibuckets of antimatter. So it's going to be a lot of power. So I will need what is that? 2,000 thousands? So 2 million millibuckets of polonium. Basically, I need 2,000 buckets of polonium, which is a lot. And I don't exactly remember how to build the SPS, but we can focus on just creating fissile fuel today. They did make it slightly easier in this mod pack to create the fissile fuel because it doesn't require niter and sulfur dust and a whole bunch of other things that you'd have to sieve for or mine for. It's just the way it is. And it's... We don't have, like, an insane amount... we don't have an insane amount of sulfur, but we do have quite a bit. And the way that we make sulfur is sieving. And it's sieving dust. So I could reset up a sieve duster, or a dust siever, woof, mixing those around, and have it not throw away sulfur, blaze powder, and redstone and grains of infinity, and just let it trash everything else. And then we would just have a passive generation of sulfur, and then set it up for sand as well to have a passive generation of whatever we get from sand. I can't remember right off the top of my head. What do we get from sand? Why was I thinking about setting up a sand guy? Hold on. The fluorite. The fluorite. I didn't put fluorite on here because I just know I need to export it. So, it's time to get started on this. The part that is, I think, gonna take the longest is getting ultimate control circuits and basic control circuits and just leveling up all these things to infused and basic, and ultimate is still what we need. And then these require elite and a purification chamber. So let's go down the list and... Okay, this requires that. Does this require anything else? Requires 2 basic chemical tanks. This requires a personal chest. This requires pretty much nothing except a steel casing. I don't have steel to craft with because this is still... I don't want to use any of this steel until, like, we're ready. So that we make the steel singularity so that I don't run out of steel before making that singularity. So, the biggest thing right now would be making these basic control circuits, and that is not actually very difficult. And that is because it just requires a metallurgic infuser. I could use my atomic forge, which takes, like, no time at all. Turns 1 redstone and 1 osmium into a basic control circuit. And this turns 2 redstone and an osmium into a basic control circuit. So let me actually do this a little differently. Let me grab my osmium. I don't have any osmium in my system, but I know I have it in this chest. So, we are going to let this atomic forge do it as well. And I set up a metallurgic infuser over here with 8 speed upgrades and 8 energy upgrades. Ooh. So we throw in the redstone. Doesn't quite fit. And then we throw in our osmium. With the speed upgrades, it's a little faster. Having to sit here and wait for this to process everything without speed upgrades is hell. I can tell you that right now. But this is a little slower, but it saves me some redstone. So we're just going to let both of these run. It freaks out a little bit as it processes, but I think it's kind of funny. This is the coolest part, is this shoots energy at it and powers it. Over here is its process, it can only hold as much charge as it needs for one of crafting. So it just resets on a cycle. Let me take care of these. So, let's see. Let me grab these over here. Tricking a rock into thinking. Craft a basic control circuit. I did craft a bunch of infused alloy, but I used most of it into making the speed upgrades. They did change the crafting recipe for the speed upgrades in this, which shocked me a little bit. So the speed upgrades used to cost 2 glass, an osmium dust, and 2 infused alloy. And technically, that is still what it costs. But now it costs structural glass, which is 4 pieces of steel and a piece of glass. So it's a little more expensive. And infused alloy's recipe got changed, because it's copper and redstone instead of iron and redstone. Which is fine by me. Honestly, it is a-okay. I did make a master infusion crystal, because otherwise I would have to craft thousands of these other crystals to make the insanium. So I crafted 4 extra insanium and made the master infusion crystal, and then made the insanium coal block. That right there. So that was a process. Mostly it was a lot of me activating my magnet, throwing everything out of a chest onto my feet, walking over to my system, dumping it all into a chest, and then just slowly click crafting through this whole thing. It was definitely a process. I kept this going. Eventually this would have given me enough. I would have needed 59 of these spaces filled for this to give me the oak log quest. Compressed block, but this stuff, 3 wood essence makes 16 logs, so I just made a bunch of them and went from there. While I got the witch data model, I also grabbed enderman, creeper, spider, zombie, skeleton, and slime, because those are all the mobs that are made in my mob farm, and we have a quest to hold every prediction. So I created them, put them in my inventory, got the quest. Apparently, I held a refined obsidian sword. Cool. Hostile neural networks, you can see right here, this little skull shape. They want me to hold every kind of prediction. This I also want to complete before ending the mod pack, so I want the ATM star and this quest right here completed. So let me claim all my quests so that this red arrow disappears, or red exclamation mark. Okay, there's a quest that I can't collect. Gave me a processing add-on. Fantastic. Okay. Sigil of Malice. Nitro capacitor. That's nice. It doubles the processing speed of the item. Okay. I think I can craft some of this other stuff. Nope, that needs steel. This just needs osmium. I need like 3 of these. I think. 2. 1. That's 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I need 5. Craft those up. I need a personal barrel, but that requires 2 barrels. Can I do a personal chest instead? I can, and that's easier. Because the chests just cost less material. That's basically it. And that's the only reason I'm using them. So, our biggest thing holding us back right now is steel. So once I make this steel singularity, which I should be able to very soon, once this hits 8.7, we can make the singularity. So, let me see if I can craft my enrichment chamber. No, because that requires steel. These items. I might be able to start working on the wireless universal terminal. Just requires, I think, 2 of any terminal. So a crafting terminal, which is a wireless terminal and a crafting table. Can I turn the wireless? Okay, no, I can only turn it into a wireless crafting table. Okay, so wireless. I can turn a wireless universal terminal into a wireless universal terminal, because that's helpful. So wireless crafting and extended pattern access. Pattern encoder, just a process. Request, requires a request terminal. This might be easier. It doesn't matter what 2 I craft as long as it's not the same 2. I definitely don't want to go into the quantum crafter. Yeah, it requires a quantum processor, which is a quantum alloy, which requires 4 more shattered singularities. So I'm not doing that one, I can tell you that. I think a wireless request terminal would be the second one. So we can start working on these. Calculation process, let's craft it all the way down to base elements, dense energy cube, wireless receiver, ME terminal. ME terminal requires an illumination plate, not a dark illuminated plate. Just an illuminated panel. That works. So this ME terminal requires an annihilation core, formation core, and a logic processor. The wireless receiver just requires a Fluix pearl and quartz fiber. So now we have that. The dense energy cube, energy cell, requires energy cells and a calculation process. Energy cells 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have all those. Don't need to worry about that. Okay. So now I just need a calculation processor. And then the formation core requires another logic processor, and the annihilation core requires another one. So I need 3 logic processors. So let me make an inscription press. I need an engraver. No, hold on. What is that machine called? Inscriber. That was close. And then we need a calculation process. And that takes Certus quartz. We're just going to make 5 of those because I don't remember how many I actually need. I do need silicon. And then I need gold. And then I need redstone to finalize them. And then we just need to put this all together. I did accidentally destroy... Hold on. Okay, I don't know how long I had that paused for, probably just after I got in the bed. But what I was saying was, I accidentally did destroy my acceleration cards. I accidentally threw them into a machine. So, I don't have any acceleration cards in here. So let's throw the silicon on there, that'll process, and we can come back later. So, these should be done now. And it looks like they are. Let me get rid of all these coal shards. And I don't mean get rid of, I just mean put in this chest where they've been going. I have so many coal shards in here. I let that run for way too long. Like, really, really way too long, considering after this I'm pretty much done with coal shards. Have my magnet on, and let us hold all of the steel. And then we can make the steel singularity, and then we can make the ultimate singularity, which is gonna be fun. I mean, not really. I'm just going to throw them in a crafting table, and it's going to do it for me. But we can pretend it's fun. Okay. Steel will go in there. All the satisfying popping noises again. Even though it takes so much steel, this will hopefully be worth it. I mean, I know it will be worth it because I have to make the ultimate singularity anyway. Whether I want to or not. Because it's part of the ATM star. And since that is my goal... Alright. Just enough steel. Jump back over here, and I can use this steel. Grab the printed silicon. Start the calculation press. And then we'll grab the steel. Steel singularity. Take that off my list. Steel singularity. And then we'll come back over here and grab all of the singularities I have. Tin, silver, lead, steel, platinum, iron, invar, electrum, coal, bronze, and aluminum. This should be all of them. Hopefully I didn't miss one. Ultimate singularity. I'm missing some! Dang it, I miscounted. Okay, let me go grab the redstone, nickel, gold, diamond, lapis, emerald, glowstone. I guess I need a second one of all those. That is my bad. Let me just grab all of these, and we'll see what I'm left with, because if I needed to make a second one of those, I'm a little screwed. Ultimate singularity. Okay. So I need to recraft everything except the ultimate and iron. So let me re-tag those. I have the ultimate and the iron, so I need another lapis, glowstone, gold, emerald, copper, diamond, and redstone. I should have looked farther into that. That is my bad. Let me reset up my witch in here, which should eventually make me glowstone. So you guys get to see me make that one. That's okay. Do logic next, and then we will see if I have enough of the gold lapis. Okay, I definitely have enough lapis. So let me throw the ultimate singularity in this chest over here. Mark that off my list. I have those two, so I'm back to basically having none of the singularities. So let us grab the lapis, which I do not have currently mining. I have a bunch of the gold. I have a lot of the other ones mining instead. I figured that was easier. I do have emerald going, so eventually I should have enough emerald to make another emerald one, but currently I don't. So that might come back to bite me in the ass, but we'll find out. I can't believe I really thought that the ultimate singularity wouldn't require every singularity in the game. That's dumb of me, but it's fine. We can make them all again. All of those resources I have farming anyway, but it just feels like a waste of time. At least I don't need them to be blocks of the stuff. I played one mod pack that was like that, and it was the worst. 9 times as many. It just didn't make any sense. Okay. We have lapis. Take it off the list. Okay. Next, we should do redstone. And then we'll do diamond. Looks like we do have enough emeralds. We have enough gold. We have enough nickel. That's way too much redstone. That's my bad. And the other thing that I did dumbly is while I was AFKing, I forgot to have my time in a bottle in my inventory, so those hours of just standing here were not absorbed. I still do have 23 hours in my time in a bottle, so it's not like it's a massive loss, but it was just like those extra like 12 hours I could probably have used at some point. Okay, take out the redstone dust, and let's throw those all back in the chest, because I grabbed way too much. Okay, let me throw this, and this back in here. We will start on the calculation press. Okay. Next we will do diamond. Alrighty. If I had realized that, I would have made additional singularities while I was AFKing, but overall it's fine. The only one I think I won't have enough of is copper. Well, I think I have enough of everything else, but my copper production is not very high. Because it's not high on my important things list. Although I might have enough in my system. I don't know if I have any in my system that isn't already in my chest. But we'll find out. Technically, I could link this chest up to my system, and it would solve the problem of me having to run back and forth, but I'm not smart enough for that. 2.7. Okay, yeah, so we would have enough copper, but like just barely. That's frustrating. I feel like such an idiot. Redstone and diamond. I don't know why I threw the redstone one in here. Redstone and diamond into this chest again. Now let's do emerald. Actually, let's do copper and just get it out of the way. So I think in this chest alone we have just enough copper. Yeah. We might have a couple stacks left over, but that is like basically just enough copper. Let's throw this all in here. And then hopefully once I'm done making these, I'll now have enough, glowstone, because that's going to be a pain. So, come on, copper. Yes! 3 stacks left over. I'll probably need it for Mekanism, so we'll see. Oh, this wasn't going, so let me turn it back on. We'll double its speed. Okay. It's starting to rain, but it's also nighttime, so we'll sleep the rain away and the night away. And then let's go grab the copper singularity. Not in there, in this chest. And now let's do emerald. Alrighty. Okay. Oops. Threw out some diamond shards. That's not really gonna do anything for me. But we'll just pick it up anyway. Don't want to leave trash on the ground. All the emeralds. so many materials. It's like 50,000 of everything. Not even counting the like, alloys that I had to make. Because the alloys were like, it's 25,000 alloys, but that also means that for, like, the steel, it was 25,000 iron and 25,000 coal. Because the steel requires one of each and gives you one, whereas, like, the electrum, it was 14,500 gold and 14,500 silver. Although I counted it wrong multiple times and ended up having to make an extra 1,000 or 2 electrum. Okay, we've done the emerald, so let's do gold. Alrighty. Throw all this on the floor, grab it all, and run back over here. Throw the emerald one on the floor, even though I don't technically need to. Yeah, I don't need to throw it on the floor, it does just sit in the output until I take it out. But it feels more natural to throw it out of the machine and jam a bunch more gold blocks in there. I don't know how strong Steve is, but carrying around this much gold bullion makes my shoulders hurt. So, I don't know how Steve does it. Excuse me, I said throw it all in there. Thank you. Alright, that is emerald. And gold. Now I just need glowstone. How much glowstone do I have in the system? Not enough. This is going to take forever. Okay. We will leave that running in the background while we focus in on some mechanism. I didn't mean to do that again. Pull out the gold singularity and throw it in here. One more to go. Even though I thought it was one more to go 20 minutes ago. Alrighty. So, now that we have all of that, let me grab the calculation press. And we can start building stuff from AE2. Formation core. Annihilation core. ME terminal. Dense energy cube. Wireless terminal. Technically I need 2 of those, but we'll figure that out in a second. ME request. I need an engineering circuit. Do I not have the engineering one? Guess I don't. So we'll get to that in a second. Wireless crafting terminal, though. Crafting table. Okay. So now we just need to do it all again for this thing. Dense energy cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm out of fluix. I'm almost out of fluix. Throw these in here and let that craft down. Apparently I hadn't held fluix in a minute. Because now I'm collecting all the stuff from AE2. Which allows me to make fluix. So it's not that bad. The infinity cells it wants me to craft, but that requires like the 256, which requires accumulation, which requires the sky steel. It's a whole thing. At AE2, I want my reaction chamber, because this will allow me to make more fluix. Throw it down right there. Put these 3 in there with a bucket of water. Maybe I should make some acceleration cards. Let me look at how to make those again. Acceleration cards requires fluics and advanced. Let me make 6 of them, I guess. Or, yeah, 6. And throw 4 of them in here, make this even faster, and then 2 of them in here. We'll take 1 out and throw it in here. So these are now both doing 3 acceleration cards. Just make this easier on everybody. Energy cells, 6, 7, 8. So the dense energy cell, I need another engineering, which means I need my silicone press, my calculation press, more Certus quartz, and more silicon. And then while I'm doing it, I might as well grab the skystone, the diamond, and the iron plate. Just so that I can make the other press I need. Engineering press. We'll make a couple calculation circuits, because I need it for a couple different things again. I think I had 3 or 4. So we'll make 10, just to be safe. I don't know what's all gonna need it anymore. So 10, put this in here and let it do 10. I do need redstone. And then when we go back, it should have 10. Well, almost. If I'd put all 4 in there, it would have been even faster, but I don't really need it to be accelerated that much. Okay, so this needs an ME request terminal, which requires an ME requester. I think I can make another illuminated panel. Yes, I didn't need to do that, I already had it. And then the ME requester needs 2 crafting co-processors and an ME interface. The ME interface requires those formation cores. Crafting co-processor requires a crafting unit and an engineering process, and the engineering is a diamond. So let me make 10 engineering. I need 10 more silicon. And then 10 more redstone. Alrighty, fly back over here, grab these, throw these in there. Let me grab the 4th card and just speed this up even more, just because I can. So I will. Then do 10 more silicon. And let's build the dense one. Let's make another wireless receiver. And then I just need that request terminal, which just requires the requester. So all I need is these last 2 crafting whatever. Need some fluix cables. Need 2 of these. Because I need 2 of these, so I just need... We're so close. Printed silicon, throw these together in here, let that do its work. Okay. Grab these, run back over here, throw those in there. Crafting unit, I already have both of those. 1, 2. And ME requester. ME request terminal. Now I need the logic processor. This never ends. Okay. So I need my logic. I need a piece of gold. I need my silicon. And I need my redstone. Okay. We're so close. Do silicon, sleep the night away. Unknown technology, find all processor presses. Sure, I found them. I didn't make them or anything. Because there's definitely meteorites in the world. That's just in the sky. Okay. ME request terminal. Wireless request terminal. Wireless crafting terminal. Wireless universal terminal. Was that it? Or for this one? Yes. Great. So, now that that's been done, we can go back to doing mechanism. Make a second chest. And then a personal chest. And then I need an enrichment chamber. I need a lot of them. I think I need 3 enrichment chambers. I need a dynamic tank with a chemical oxidizer. I think I just need the 1 chemical oxidizer. This is a chemical infuser. This is a chemical dissolution. This is a chemical oxidizer. So 1 chemical oxidizer. I still need a bunch of stuff for this, but I do need the refined obsidian, which requires an osmium compressor. So let me make that. I need the advanced control circuits. Osmium compressor. Purification chamber requires 2 more advanced circuits. Solar neutron requires a bunch of other stuff, including this guy here. 1, 2, 3. I need a lot more than that. I think I need 12 of these. Okay, 12 solar panels. Need an energy tablet, which means I need more infused alloy. So another stack of copper and a stack of redstone. Boom, boom. We'll come back to that in a second. Because, yeah, I need 4 of these, and each one of these requires blah, 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 blah. And then that's not even going to be it, because I need atomic alloy and elite control circuits. Elite control circuits I don't have either. Diamond dust and advanced control circuits. Chemical injection chamber requires the same thing, but it does mean I need a purification chamber, which I believe I already have. I do. Chemical dissolution chamber, I need to go a little upgraded. Okay. We'll grab all these and keep building. We'll jump back over here. Throw this in this chest here. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Did I not bookmark these? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump back over here. 1 of these. Boom, boom, boom. And now I just need elite control circuits and atomic alloy. This requires refined obsidian, which I get from, I believe, the enrichment chamber. So I'm done with the enrichment chamber. Can't make the isotopic. Can I make the chemical infuser? Yes, I can. Okay, so I need to put all of these down except the purification chamber, because I need to turn it into a chemical injector, but that requires me to have diamond mixed with my advanced control circuits. So, let me make a couple advanced control circuits. Like 10 of them, I don't know. I like the number 10, apparently, because that's what I keep making. I already have my chemical infuser, and I just need the one. So now I need reinforced alloy. I need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 12 of them. 16 of them. And that is diamond dust. I'm just going to do a whole stack, because why not? I've got infinite. And the alloys. So 16 of them should be all I need. We'll run over here and break these down. Because why would it be easy? I also have a speed add-on on this thing, and it's still so slow. Gave me some iron there. Some Certus quartz dust. Some silicon, and then I'm just going to collect all of these. Okay. Okay. But anyway, let me grab the diamond dust. I think I need 16 of these. It might take more diamond dust than I think it does, but that is what the enrichment chamber is for. Throw this down right here. To turn this into reinforced alloy, I need 20, which means I would need 2. Or I can just turn it into 4. Oh, hold on. It doesn't double it, it 8 times it, so 2 should be all I need. No, 4. Because I need to turn 16 of them into it, and 16 of them would take 32. So, let's see if I have any more speed upgrades. I have 6. Do I have any more energy upgrades? I have 1. Can I make more energy? I can. I got 5. 6, 7, 8. And now I need more infused alloy, which I already used out of my system. That's fine. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Let's up its speed a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Enriched diamonds. And then this will turn into enriched alloy. Reinforced alloy, not enriched. And then I need a couple of these. Make 7. So the chemical infuser. I didn't mean to use all of them. I need 4 more, so it's time to jump back in and start making them again. Turn these into enriched diamonds. Dump this. Make more infused alloy, and then we can do reinforced alloy, and then do elite stuff. Alright, here. We're getting close. I can put down my osmium compressor because I'll need this. Because I need the atomic alloy, I need enriched obsidian, which is refined obsidian dust. Refined obsidian dust is obsidian dust and diamond. What was it that I needed what did I need oh, this, the refined obsidian. So refined obsidian dust mixed with osmium, refined obsidian ingot. So I need the refined obsidian, which means I need to enrich obsidian dust with diamond. Okay. So I need 5 more, so let's just make 8. Alrighty. And then let's craft these. Okay. Chemical injection chamber. Crafted that. These just require the atomic. Okay. Then that is all I need. These 3 right here. Okay. I have this. So, let's work on that obsidian. We will turn obsidian into obsidian dust. And this crusher right here. And then we'll take these enriched diamonds. We will turn... Actually, I think I can do this even faster. Let me grab these out of here. Because I believe I can put regular obsidian into my enrichment chamber. Can I not? I guess I need an actual crusher to do that. And I get way more from it. Not a 1-to-1, I get a 1-to-4. So let me make a crusher. Again, another machine. I need buckets of lava. Let me sleep the night away. Enrich your infusing outputs to increase their efficiency. Yes. Okay. 2 buckets of lava. Look like that lava being made right here. And a crusher. I will throw that down right here. And then I need speed upgrades. That should be enough for my infuser, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be enough for my crusher. And then we'll do 4 for the osmium. And then the energy upgrade. I don't remember how many I have in my enrichment chamber. I have all 8. I need 1 more speed upgrade. And then I just need 7. Just short. Because of course I am. And then 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fine. It's fine. I don't need them. Enrichment. That was the wrong way around. Give me those. We'll put them in here. These. And these. Okay, in the crusher, turn obsidian into obsidian dust. And then we will take the obsidian dust from here. And we will pop them in here with 8 of these enriched diamonds, and it will turn it into refined obsidian dust. I get it, you got another stack in there. And then we come back over here we'll grab some osmium. And then grab out another stack. And then once it finishes, I want the whole stack, please. Okay. I can put them in here. That creates enriched obsidian. So I'm going to turn half of them into enriched obsidian. I need 4 of them to turn into the refined obsidian ingots. And then we can throw those in here. I need more alloys, which means I need more copper. We're gonna make 2 stacks this time. And then redstone, I just need 16 of it, because we're gonna enrich it first. And then every enriched piece counts for 8 instead of 10. Well, 80 instead of 10, so 8 instead of 1. And then we're going to turn the enriched redstone into more infused alloy, and then I'll need to turn the infused alloy into more diamond infused, and then turn those diamond infused into the enriched obsidian infused. Basically, I don't need this anymore. So I can make the atomic alloys, which is the reinforced with the refined obsidian, and the reinforced is the infused with the diamond. And that should be the last piece to get the last 3 machines I need for this to work. Whew. This is a lot. And this is just setting up the thing. This isn't even like building the reactor or actually turning it into antimatter. This is just making the fuel for the reactor to burn. That's how much this mod pack has in it. Okay. Infused alloy, enriched diamond. We'll do that again before this runs out. And then turn this to these. I hope that's going to be enough. It's exactly enough. Great. A stack of atomic alloys. And then we're going to turn the rest of these into the other kind. So. Two, 3, 4 of those. I can make this, except not quite. 1 more of those. Solar neutron activator. Chemical dissolution chamber. Isotopic centrifuge. That is all the machines to make the fuel. I now just also need to make like a massive tank. I wonder if I can use these singularity tanks that I love to use so much. We'll see. Might not be able to hold the fissile fuel. But I do know that I need a bunch of speed and energy upgrades. So we're going to make more copper alloys. I have infinite of each, so I don't know why I would bother doing anything else. I'm going to throw these in here, just that I have a second processor of them. And then I'll make more of that glass. Let me see. I don't remember what the class is called. Structural glass. Let's just make like 2 stacks. Can't quite make 2 stacks, but I can now use the iron and coal that I've been hoarding to make 8 stacks of the stuff. Throw it on the ground because I don't have enough inventory space. And I left this up for a reason. We'll throw all the iron and all the coal in there. And it will sort it into these, and these will make me more steel. Automation at its finest. Well, at its most manageable. It won't do it in here for me. I have to do it in my alloy kiln. Well, since I already am holding it, I might as well just throw them in here. Okay. Let's make some more upgrades. Speed upgrade. And energy upgrade. Okay. We're gonna make... Okay, I guess I made all speed upgrades. That was not my intention, but it works. And then let's just do the same with energy upgrades. Except I don't have enough structural glass for that. Now I do... Boop. Energy upgrade. Okay, 32 of them. So... I don't remember how far apart these need to be. So I'm just going to put them a little willy-nilly. Until I can remember the order. Hold on. So fissile fuel needs to go into the isotopic centrifuge. So this should be right here. Apparently it's got oxygen in it. Why? For me holding it in my hand? Okay, that's weird. It's got 8 millibuckets of oxygen in it. It probably used the one tank that I got. So let me dump it. I know there should be a way for me to dump it. I don't remember. I can just go make a tank and swap it over. But, okay, go back down the line. Fissile fuel is uranium hexafluoride. So next is the chemical infuser, which is this guy. He just needs to be a block away so that I can pipe in. So, from the uranium hexafluoride, it needs to connect the hydrofluoric acid from one side in the chemical dissolution chamber, which I'm still holding. And that should be here. Yeah, to pipe out and put in there. And from the other side needs the uranium oxide, which is the chemical oxidizer. And that should go right here. Goes in on that side, out on that side, I think. Chemicals. Okay, whatever. I'll make it work. And the uranium oxide... Nope, hold on. This comes from the sulfuric acid, and that is in the chemical injection chamber goes in over here. So, there's a couple things I need here. I need power. I need cables to transfer stuff between these. I need a tank to empty this. Let me do that real fast. Well, first I'll sleep the night away. Alrighty. And then I can make a chemical tank. Not a creative one, I just need a basic one. Basic chemical tank. Thank you. And we will drain out the oxygen and put this back in our system. Because I don't need the oxygen right now. So, let me grab my cables and a flux point. And we will run power just uglily, just running them very ugly underneath them. Because I can fly, so I don't really need to worry about it. We'll do that. And then we'll lead a line to this flux point. Okay, they are now all powered. And this should have, yeah, bypass. So, next I need the pipes and stuff from Mekanism. So I have the cables. I need the mechanical pipes. I need more steel. Just a second. So mechanical pipes transfer fluids. The pressurized tubes transport chemicals, so this is what I need. And the logistical pipes transport items. Then what is this one? This is thermodynamic, it transfers heat. So, I do need a basic mechanical pipe anyway. I believe that's logistical. I want the mechanical. Because I believe some of these count as fluids. Could be wrong, though. And I need my configurator. And I'm glad I have the atomic alloys, because this allows me to just go boop. Actually, no, it doesn't. Hold on. It's this that allows me. I need more alloys, which means I need more copper. It is a constant crafting of these alloys, and it always will be. I need these. I need the other ones, which are reinforced. And then I need these ones. So, I can take the infused alloy and go boop, boop. And it turns them into the next level. Then I do it again with reinforced. It does it again, and then I could do it again with the atomic alloy and just upgrade these again. And now they're max level. And it costs about the same. It covers 8, and I've only placed down like 16, or 10, 11 of them. So it is kind of a waste of materials, but honestly, I don't care. I can make infinite of any of these because I'm infinitely generating all of these. So, and we'll place down a tank right here. So, out of this into this needs to be a basic mechanical pipe, but what I'm going to do is upgrade all of these pipes that I have crafted to their higher levels. So let me throw everything in here, and we will go from there. Okay. So, logistical transport pipes. mechanical pipes and pressurized tubes. Transports chemicals and gases. And then elite mechanical pipe and ultimate mechanical pipe. And then elite pressurized tube, ultimate pressurized tube, elite logistical transporter, ultimate logistical transporter. So, everything except my logistical. Forgot to throw those in there. Everything should now be maximum. So, what comes out of this, the chemical oxidizer, should be the uranium oxide, and this, I believe, is a chemical. So it needs a pressurized tube. Make that an output for chemicals. Yes, so it's a chemical output. Configurator to make it a pull, and that should go in there. And then out of this one is definitely also a chemical. And that side should be set to output automatically and auto eject. We will do the same thing with the configurator. And then what comes out of the chemical injection chamber should be an item. No, it should be a chemical. Right? Hold on, what am I using this chemical injection chamber for? To make the sulfuric acid? If I throw this in a chemical injection chamber. Okay. But that's not what I want. I don't want it in here. I want it in a thing. So let me see what turns it into. Huh. So it says it can be used, but so now it's a liquid item to chemical. Okay. Okay, that should be good enough. This needs an item input, which is a logistical transporter. And this needs an item, which is a logistical transporter. So the side with a logistical transporter should be input. And this side with the logistical transporter should be input. Okay. And then from here into this should be a fluid. So, nope, it's a chemical. Okay. So, boop that over in here. Pull that out of there. Should already be set to output. Yes. This should be inputting a chemical. And then outputting a chemical. So I don't think this is going to work, because it needs to be stored as a chemical. But we can always give it a try. No. Okay. So let me get a chemical tank. So this is the chemical tank right here. We'll do basic. We'll do advanced. We will do elite. And then ultimate. And the creative one requires an ATM star block, so that's not going to happen. But the ultimate one does have a storage capacity of 8.1 thousand buckets. So I might need 2 of these. So let's do that. You know what, let's just make 4 of them. Just for the hell of it. I guess I made 6. That was not the intention. Let me only make 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1. Okay. 4 ultimate chemical tanks. Hopefully that is enough. And then we will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And these should auto input. Yeah. Auto input. Auto input. Okay, these should store whatever comes out of this. Hopefully. Now we just need to give this thing a test run. So let me get some sulfur. Let me get some fluorite. And I don't think any of this required water at all. This is just the sulfuric acid. Okay. So this is the one that I'm confused about first. So we are going to... How do we turn it into sulfuric acid? So we don't. Is it the chemical injecting factory? Okay, so chemical injector might not be the thing we need. We might have to go the other route of making sulfuric acid in a chemical infuser, which needs water vapor and sulfur trioxide, which is in another chemical infuser making sulfur dioxide. I need a chemical oxidizer to turn sulfur into sulfur dioxide. Okay, so I need a couple more machines. I need another chemical oxidizer that turns sulfur dioxide into a chemical infuser, which takes oxygen from an electrolytic separator. Whoops. Hold on, I need to start tagging these liquids. Okay, sulfur in a chemical infuser, so I need at least 2 chemical infusers, and that takes water vapor and sulfur trioxide. Sulfur trioxide is sulfur dioxide and oxygen in a chemical infuser. Okay, the water vapor is from deconcentrating water in a rotary condensator. Why can I not tag this? There we go. Okay. So I need infinite water going into a rotary condensator that makes water vapor. The water vapor then needs to go into a chemical infuser to mix with sulfuric acid, or mix with sulfur trioxide to make sulfuric acid. On the other side, I need sulfur trioxide, which I'm making from sulfur dioxide and oxygen, to make sulfur trioxide. The sulfur dioxide is from a chemical oxidizer and sulfur. The oxygen is going to come from an electrolytic separator, separating water into oxygen and hydrogen. And I will be trashing the hydrogen because I don't think I have any use for it. I can make substrate, but I don't really need it. It can be used to compress hydrogen chloride. which is just salt. Okay, so I need an electrolytic separator and another source of infinite water. Okay. So I need 2 buckets of water. I have 2 buckets of water. I need 2 sinks. Okay. Now I need the mechanical pipes. I knew I needed them for something, I just couldn't remember. So let's see. I have a bucket of mineral resin. I don't remember when I got that. Okay, so now I need 2 chemical infusers. 1 for the sulfuric acid and 1 for the sulfur trioxide. Yeah, so I need 2 chemical infusers. I need to just huck that off the edge. I don't need it. Could have used the oxygen. That was a mistake. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually need 1 to be a buffer tank for the oxygen. And then I need a second one that is just... I need a trash. I need the fluid trash can. And yes, I need this to be a buffer, this to be a trash. I need to craft 2 of these. 2 chemical infusers. I need another chemical oxidizer. Okay. And I need an electrolytic separator. And I need a rotary condensator. Basic fluid tank. Basic chemical tank. Oh, it used my basic chemical tank at some point. I didn't mean for that to happen. And an energy tablet. Okay. Now then, sulfuric acid needs to go into the chemical dissolution chamber, which is right here. So that is 1 of the chemical infusers. And the front should be output. Yes, okay. This chemical infuser let me just use configurator to wrench, pick this up. Wrench, hold on. Rotate, empty, configure, wrench, rotate? How does this work? I don't remember. Okay, we're just gonna break it. So, from the back, it is gonna take a chemical. The back is an input, and that is the sulfur dioxide from the chemical oxidizer, and the other side is going to be the oxygen from the electrolytic separator. So this side is going to be a basic chemical tank. Okay, it's going to pull out of this chemical tank. We want this to be an output. And it's going to be pulling from an electrolytic separator with the side set to output, or chemicals. Yeah, output. And the right is going to be set to input. And this is where we're going to put a sink with a mechanical pipe. And then it's going to output the chemical to the left, which will be oxygen. We'll put it in the chemical tank. And then this side is going to go to the fluid trash can. And its front is going to be another output. And this fluid trash can will just void all of the actually, let me take this down because I don't know if I need the trash can. I think I can just tell it to void it. So we will fill it with water. It will separate it into hydrogen and oxygen. This is filling with hydrogen, which is going in here, I think. Where did the hydrogen go? I guess it just dumped it? Well, anyway, this is the stuff we want to keep. This is the stuff we want empty. So we will dump it. And then I just need to connect it up to power. Let me make some ultimate cables. I have 2. Let me turn the advanced ones into ultimate, into, yeah. One more. There we go. Okay. This side needs the chemical oxidizer. What did I need the chemical oxidizer for? This is to make sulfur dioxide, which is what needs to be in here. Chemical oxidizer, right there. Front is an output. Sulfur. Okay. So this should now be getting oxygen and sulfur dioxide. This is making uranium. Okay. What else did I need? This chemical dissolution chamber will be getting the sulfuric acid, that's right. This infuser is supposed to be making this. So this is in the wrong order here. So this all needs to go and move. I have the wrong order. Whew. Okay, the chemical dissolution chamber will be getting the sulfuric acid and the fluorite. So it needs a logistical transporter on the end of it. Items should be coming in from the back. It should be going in there. From this side, it'll be receiving from a chemical infuser. Back needs to be an output. It should be receiving this is receiving uranium oxide. This should just be receiving the sulfuric acid. Right, this makes the uranium hexafluoride, which turns into fissile fuel. Yeah, okay. Okay, I got it now. I got it. So, the sulfuric acid is the water vapor mixed with the sulfur trioxide. So, this needs water vapor. And that will be from the rotary condensator, pumping out with the basic pressurized tube into this side. That side needs to be an input. Yes. Left also needs to be an input. So, this will be inputting water with the mechanical pipe. If I tell it to input, why is it not filling with water? Because it needs to decondensate? Yeah, decondensate water into water vapor. The water vapor will pump out into here, and this is where it will be mixing the sulfur trioxide and the water vapor. So the sulfur trioxide is made in another chemical infuser. So that side should also be an input. Yes. On the other chemical infuser, front should be output. Yes. Okay. And this thing will be getting, to make the sulfur trioxide, sulfur dioxide, and oxygen. So, let's move this torch. So, from this side, it will be receiving, through this tube here, the sulfur dioxide, which is in the chemical oxidizer. And its back will be an output. And it's everything else will be an input. So I need a logistical transporter that will transport in sulfur. That will turn it into sulfur dioxide. That'll go in right here. Right here. So this side is another ultimate pressurized tube, and that should be input 1. That will be from the electrolytic separator. And it will pump out the oxygen into here. Yes, great. And this will be getting water from a mechanical pipe, inputting all the water. Let's make sure that that is an input. Yep. Okay. So this should all now work. So I need uranium in here, fluorite in here, sulfur in here, water into both of those. This should be dumping the hydrogen. Okay. Now I just need to run power to these. This is not a power cable. Let me undo that. They look almost identical, but this is not what I needed. Can't run power through a gas pipe. Okay, this is now making sulfur dioxide, which is going in here, making sulfur trioxide. This is making nothing at the moment. Let me run power. This is making oxygen and nothing. So we're making the sulfur trioxide. Now I just need it over here. This is making water vapor, which is making sulfuric acid, which is going in here with the fluorite, which is making hydrofluoric acid. Fantastic. So now we just need 3 chests. I have 1 oak chest. I just need 2 more redstone torches. Okay. 3 oak chests. We're going to go ahead and make them iron chests, so that I can upgrade them later. We're going to put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. We need a bunch of uranium. That'll go in here. Right? What did I need this guy for? Right, the yellow cake uranium. That's why I needed the other enrichment chamber. That's what I'm forgetting. Okay. So, I need the other enrichment chamber. I still need the logistical transporter here. The enrichment chamber. Universal cables. The enrichment chamber is going to output on the left and auto eject. And then we'll do this just for good measure. And this needs a logistical transporter with a chest on the end of it. Pulling. And that should be an input. Okay. Now I need the uranium. Uranium goes in this chest. Gets put into the enrichment chamber. The enrichment chamber will slowly process it into yellow cake uranium. And then the yellow cake uranium goes in here and gets turned into the other thing. Uranium oxide. And then this should be turning it into uranium hexafluoride, which turns it into something. This isn't set to input. This is its front, that's its back. So its back should be an output. And now we are making fissile fuel, and it's spread among these 4 tanks. Fantastic. That is the end to episode 11. Episode 12 will be out probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the day after. You can subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when the next episode comes out, and I appreciate you all for watching. Bye-bye.